For Sports Wrap. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic week. Even though it's only the start of the week, I hope everybody's doing very, very well this evening. It's a pleasure, as always, to be back into the studio with you alongside me tonight. There's only three of us here tonight. We had an open spot for the show for somebody to sign up, and nobody signed up for it. So we're going to roll with three, and I like the number 3, so we'll roll with
number.
it. Yeah, it's a great number. It's a great number for multiple reasons, that's for sure. So I'm Jason James. As always, I'm your host for this evening. Excited to be here with you. To my left is one of our new guys, Andrew Travers. That's
Travers.
All right. I'll remember that, I promise. And then
Absolutely, man.
to his left is Riley Carlson, and this is a first for Riley and I. I don't believe we've ever been on a show together.
No, not yet. I've been with Ben for like the whole first semester, but I'm excited to get it, this semester. So
I was going to say, I think you mainly did Tuesdays last semester, so it's I'm excited. We got a lot of great things to talk about. We're gonna touch on a little bit of the Super Bowl, and then we'll get into some kind of conversation I want to have about the head coaching kind of carousel, I guess, if you will. And then we'll get into some NBA stuff, and then we'll touch on some of the Winter Olympics. That one's gonna be a fun kind of topic. I'm excited to start it, but before we get started with all that, I'd like to kind of start the show with a question, just a general basic question. So I want to know, Valentine's Day is around I guess kind of around the corner. I mean, it's next Monday, so I don't know, but still 6 days away. But it made me wonder, have you ever had a Valentine? And if you did, who was your first ever Valentine you ever had?
For me, I dated a girl in my junior year of high school. Her name was Jill, and I remember meeting her at this Christian camp through my school, and things were going great like the first couple weeks, and she was treating me right. I was feeling pretty good about it, honestly. And then after those few weeks went by, she friend zoned me all of a sudden, and I was just like, really?
Dude, there's no getting out of that once you're in it.
Right. No. I mean, seriously. So she kind of did me dirty, but she was my first ever date officially. So
Riley?
yeah, I mean, no, to go back on that, I mean, once you're in the zone, you're in the zone, it's over. So
pretty much.
Yeah, that's a rip right there. But no, my first ever Valentine, if I really had to pick one, if I'm gonna go all the way back, it'd probably be the second grade. I remember I had one of those little M&M things, with to and from. I remember I gave it to this girl.
Or the hearts that you get, the candies that have the hearts that have the little message on them.
Oh yeah, those I don't know if they're sweet tarts, but
they're called sweet hearts or something. Yeah. They're not very good. I don't think. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of them, but
right.
All right, yeah, I not really. I probably eat them maybe one a year, but no, I gave it to this girl named Susie, I remember, and I gave her one, and then this kid named Trey comes over and gave her the same thing, and then she threw mine away in the trash. No lie, it was the saddest thing I think ever happened to me in my life. Yeah,
man's a savage for that.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. Let me see. So, growing up, I was never obsessed with women and just obsessed with spending time with a bunch of them and talking to a bunch of them as many as I could. I mean, I was never that guy. So I'm trying to think. I would say I wouldn't even consider this a Valentine. In elementary school, I'm trying to think of when it was. We were in chorus, I believe, in elementary school, because we would do chorus one day a week and then art one day a week and everything. And so there was this song that we sang, and guy had to find a girl had to find a guy basically to sing it to, and I ended up singing it to my assistant principal's daughter. Her name was Alexandra. I mean, we were third grade, second grade, maybe even first. I don't even know. So I considered that to be a Valentine until I got older, and then I realized, nope, that was not my Valentine at all. So but I spent 4 years. I guess my first official Valentine was my old girlfriend a long time ago. We shared 4 of them together, 3 of them together. So I guess that was my first one. And then obviously I got it coming up again with my current girlfriend this Monday, so looking forward to that. But now I want to ask, before we get into the show, if you could choose one celebrity to be your Valentine, who would you choose?
For me, honestly, I'm going to have to go someone who's closer to my age. I'm 20, so it would probably, for me, have to be Peyton List. She's 3 years older than I am, so, and she's not too bad. She's a blonde, she's not too bad looking.
She's an actress, yeah.
If I had to go with anybody, I would have to go, I'd go back in time here and go with prime Jennifer Aniston. I did all the research
Friends
here.
Jennifer Aniston?
Like Friends Jennifer Aniston.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not post Jennifer Aniston.
No. Well, I mean,
post
she's
Friends.
Yeah, I mean, she's aged like fine wine, but I she's a little old for me. You know what I'm saying? So Friends Jennifer Aniston. Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid.
That woman, she sits there and does the Vino commercials, and I swear she just looks younger by the age. I would have to probably say Carrie Underwood would be mine. If I had to guess, that would probably be mine. So,
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, dude. My mom, it never fails. Every time Sunday Night Football comes on, she wants to watch. She's like, "Carrie's about to come on. We got to watch it." And she loves watching that little intro. She loves Carrie Underwood. But
that's awesome.
So we're gonna go ahead and I guess get started with the good stuff now, if you will. So obviously we know this week is Super Bowl week. The Bengals did arrive in L.A. today. I believe the Rams are already there, obviously, because it's their home stadium. But I want to kind of get your, I guess, final thoughts before this game, because I'm not sure both of you will be on again on Thursday or what. But so I wanted to kind of get your final thoughts going into Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I think it should be a very tightly contested, very competitive game. Both teams look really good offensively and defensively. I did want to note, though, that I think Tyler Higbee is questionable for the Rams this Sunday, so we'll just have to see how his playing status turns out to be. He should be one of the difference makers for the Rams. And then, the Bengals, they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, CJ Uzama, all those guys, on offense. So they're really stacked on offense. But yeah, I think it should be a really good game overall.
Yeah, to be honest, it's probably the most exciting Super Bowl I've been anticipating for a while. I mean, it's Tom Brady's cool and all, but I can't stand seeing him in the Super Bowl every single year, and all that kind of stuff. So just seeing two new teams and the Bengals in the Super Bowl, it's so crazy. So I'm really excited to watch it, and it should be a great game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I hope it's a great game. I hope to see a lot of offense. We'll see. There hasn't been a Super Bowl that I've been necessarily interested in, I guess, per se, in a while, since probably the Panthers made the Super Bowl, and that's just because they're obviously the home team. But I liked the Super Bowl last year. I thought that was a good game. Chiefs and Bucks, I thought that was a pretty solid game. The Bucks were the clear favorite going into that Super Bowl, especially with Tom Brady. But I'm excited to watch it. I hope there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. I hope we'll get to see some touchdowns. And like I said last week, Joe Burrow loves the spotlight, and what better place to show it off than the Super Bowl. So,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to get to partake in. So, now that we're this close to it, or we're approaching it, you get the pick. Obviously, you make a pick when the Super Bowl gets announced with what two teams are playing. But as kind of it gets closer, a lot of times you see people that will change their predictions and that kind of thing. So do you think at all that your predictions changing? Are you staying with what you got? How are you doing it?
Well, I know I probably haven't talked to you guys about this, but I know amongst my friends I've been saying that the Rams are probably going to win. I want to see Matt Stafford win a Super Bowl. He's been with the Lions all these years, and finally coming to LA. But I think I'm going to go with the Bengals now. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They're the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the NFL, and they just have so many weapons on offense and defense. I think they're looking really good for the big game.
Yeah, I started out actually. I'm the opposite. I started out with Bengals, just because they're so on a roll. They're on fire right now. But the more and more I think about it, the more I'm like, Joe Burrow, he's inexperienced. It's only his second year, and Super Bowl teams, the way they're built, in my opinion, is like it starts with the trenches. And then you have to have a really solid defense. Which the Bengals have a good defense, but I feel like the Rams defense is just on another level compared to the Bengals. And their defensive line with Donald and Von Miller, you know what I'm saying? And then you have Caitlyn Ramsey at the corner spot. So, I mean, their defense is insane. And then all you need other than that is just a solid quarterback. And at this point, I know, Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr. I like him.
Shiesty.
Joe Shiesty. But I like him a lot.
Shiesty.
But I think Matthew Stafford I have a little bit more trust in this spot at the moment, so I'd have to go with the Rams.
Yeah, you got to think experience will end up playing a role in a lot of it. You would think, the only thing, going back to what you said about Tyler Higbee, it's like Thomas Davis in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. They asked Thomas Davis when he broke his arm, if he's going to. He said, "Are you kidding me? It's the Super Bowl. I might never be here again in my life." And
right.
So I got a feeling Tyler Higbee's probably going to end up being the same way. I think that the one thing that I will say is, it's a lot easier to lean on the veteran side of things. It's a lot easier to lean on guys that have experience in the league, guys have been in the league a while. And, I mean, the Bengals have it, but if you look from an offensive side of things, Matt Stafford has plenty of experience. I mean, he's been in the NFL a long time. And so you got to favor it, and you got to wonder if maybe home field advantage kind of has something to do with it. The Rams were my pick to make the Super Bowl beginning of the year, and I would love to see Joe Burrow win the Super Bowl. I think it would really kind of complete his phenomenal, type season. But I feel like when you look at Matt Stafford and then you just look at all the weapons that he has on offense, it's hard to say that the Bengals would be able to stop that completely. And that the Rams defense is going to get into the second and third levels of that offense. So, I mean, it puts a tough kind of bind on Joe Burrow and what Joe Burrow is able to do. But, we can't forget, I mean, Joe Burrow can still move the ball with his legs if he has to,
It just depends on what kind of Matthew Stafford you're getting, right? If you get the same Matthew Stafford that played against the Niners, I don't think you win the game. I mean, Stafford played all right against the Niners, but you're going to need him to play exceptional. I mean, you've seen the quarterback play in the last few Super Bowls. You need above and beyond effort and just above and beyond performance to win that Super Bowl. You just get past. So it just depends on if you're going to get really good Matthew Stafford or just kind of cold Matthew Stafford. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you definitely need Stafford to step up and play well. I think you also need Cooper Kupp to step up and play well. He's had the most receiving yards in the league this season, so him to step up. Tyler Higbee, if he plays, you need a bunch of guys to step up on offense. I think if the Rams are going to pull this out.
You got to wonder, though, too, what the Bengals' kind of mindset going into this is as far as who they're going to choose to cover. Are you going to say, okay, let's cover Cooper Kupp all night and just let anybody else but him beat us? Or do you say, let's take more of a gamble on OBJ? I think the clear option is Cooper Kupp, but the problem is you put too much on Cooper Kupp, then OBJ's going to end up having a great game, So I don't know. I like the situational type aspects of a lot of these different games and that sort of thing. So another thing that's going to be fun, and I'll let y'all kind of touch on this, I guess, if you want, is going to be who's going to have the better game between Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to think on that for a minute, but
yeah, I mean, I would. I don't know. See, all right, so this is going to go back to the whole Bengals mindset, and this is why I really like this team right now. As much as I think the Rams are going to win, the Bengals, I think, are really young and good and talented right now, and they have no idea what their flaws are just because they're young and just so overconfident. They haven't been shot down at this point in the season, and so being young might help them, even though they're not experienced. They're just going to have a lot of confidence. So with that being said, I think Jamar Chase, talking about Caitlyn Ramsey, he knows Caitlyn Ramsey is good, but he's a rookie. He hasn't even gone through any adversity or anything like that. So he has no idea what it's like to fail. So he's going to go in there overconfident and just that can be a really huge factor. I mean, we saw it with what's his face, Josh Norman on the Panthers in 2015.
Yeah, Josh Norman.
I felt like he was just his confidence was through the roof. He may not have been even that great of a player, and he was that season, but
he just had that one great year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can just get super high confidence and ride that. So I think maybe Chase will be better than Ramsey.
Yeah, I'll take this one, Andrew. Then I'll let you kind of come back with what you got to say. Give you more time to think. This is going to be very, very interesting to me. This is going to be an interesting matchup because, look, I'll be the first person to tell you I'm not a fan of Richard Sherman at all. And I know Richard Sherman has nothing to do with this conversation, but Richard Sherman, he hid a lot of times in cover 2. So, if he'd end up getting exposed, a lot of times he'd have a safety that would be there to help him kind of thing. And my whole worry is Jalen Ramsey's going to be the same way with Jamar Chase. I think we all three can agree that Jalen Ramsey's one of the best, defensive backs in the NFL. I feel like we can all three agree on that. But when you've got the athleticism and you've got the talent that Jamar Chase has, it's gonna be hard. I mean, I could see Jamar Chase being completely shut down, but I could also see Jalen Ramsey being completely exposed.
Yeah, definitely. I also feel like it's how well Joe Burrow, and also is involved with how well Joe Burrow throws the ball. Because if he's trying to hit Jamar Chase and he's not hitting him during the game, if the target to catch ratio is off, I think Jalen Ramsey will have a better game. But if Jamar Chase is catching his passes, he will definitely have a big game for sure. So
I'm looking for deep shots, a lot of deep shots in this game. We'll see if it happens or not between those two. You would just kind of assume they would. I also kind of am really looking forward to seeing Joe Mixon. That's another guy I'm excited to watch, see how effective he is with the run game against that D-line for the Rams. I just think, personally, the Rams just have too much, I don't want to say firepower, but I think the experience side and just the playmakers that they have, they have what it takes to end up winning. I feel like.
Yeah, between Stafford and OBJ, both of them, they're this is probably the last time I'm in this thing. So they're probably not gonna let themselves lose the Super Bowl or do everything in their power not to lose the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, absolutely not. You are exactly right. Okay, so I want to transition now away from the Super Bowl. So there's obviously when you get into the NFL offseason, it's like we get new coaches almost every season. It never fails. It's either one team or there's 15. It seems like it never fails every year. So to my knowledge, in the past, I guess 2 days, there's been 3 different head coaching hires, I believe. The Saints, the Dolphins, and the Texans, all 3 got new head coaches. One thing that is very interesting to me is the Chiefs' offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. He has been on kind of the radar, I guess, for a lot of teams, and he went and interviewed with the Saints yesterday, I believe, and he was there. It was a pretty lengthy interview from what I understand, and then they end up going with an in-house guy, their defensive coordinator, promoting him to head coach. What do you think, I guess, what do you think has been kind of the biggest reason Bieniemy hasn't gotten hired? Because it's always you hear the conversation of, we don't have enough African American head coaches in the league, and Brian Flores was one, and now you've got Eric Bieniemy. So you got both of them that are. What's kind of been the biggest reason for that? Do you think? Is it just they feel like they can't coach? They don't have the confidence in them to coach their teams? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think Bieniemy has cemented himself as an offensive coordinator in Kansas City really well. He's held the position since 2018, and he's been successful. The Chiefs have been a playoff team for the past couple of years, so I think he's been really successful at what he does in Kansas City. And I was reading, I think guys have been saying there isn't a lot of detail to him because he's good at what he does, and then I think he's been accepting a lot of interviews recently, so that might be one of the reasons why he hasn't been looked at as a head coach at that position.
I think right now, if we're specifically talking about Bieniemy, I think Andy Reid, he's kind of overshadowed by Andy Reid because Andy Reid calls most of the plays there. So really, I don't know if we can truly see what Bieniemy does, off the field and on the field and stuff. So I think it would be more of a risk to hire him. But also, I would take that risk personally if I were a team. I've been wanting the Panthers to get this dude. I mean, he has to be better than Rule if we're being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
So I've been wanting, and when I heard Brian Flores got fired, I was like, why aren't the Panthers firing Matt Rule right now?
Because you would think Brian Flores is a top head coaching candidate this carousel,
Right.
Exactly. So something's fishy about it. I don't know what it is. I know First Take's been talking about it a lot. Stephen A. Smith's been talking about it like nonstop every day. So
I bet.
I really don't know. I really don't know what it is, but it doesn't look good when there is only one colored head coach, or two now because the Texans just promoted their guy. So it doesn't look good, though.
I think it's Lovie Smith and Mike Tomlin, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
I was talking on the phone the other day with my dad, and like I said, my dad, he always calls and asks, have you figured out what you're talking about on the show this week and this kind of thing and that kind of thing. And one of the things that I told him, because he mentioned this as something potentially to talk about, something that kind of interested me. I told my dad, I said, look, I don't care what skin color you are. If I feel like you can coach my team and my organization and lead this organization to success, I'm going to hire you. I don't care. Now, I'm not saying the skin color has anything to do with it because I completely and totally disagree. I don't think skin color has anything to do with it. But I agree a lot with what you said, Riley. Andy Reid kind of ultimately has the ultimate decision on what plays get run and that sort of thing. And you got to wonder maybe if when Andy Reid retires, Bieniemy is kind of dead set on that Chiefs job. I think he kind of wants that Chiefs head coaching job. But, it's I wanted to talk about it just because I feel like it never fails for the past couple years. It's like Bieniemy's name's been there for a lot of. I mean, it was with the Saints. I mean, you heard it for the Saints. You heard it for the Texans last year. It's been everywhere, and so I wanted to kind of see what y'all thought. So out of I guess the three new hires, which one are you thinking is probably going to be having the most success of the three?
Oh, I don't really like any of them, to be honest. They're not the best. I mean, the Dolphins hire is a little bit of a risk.
That's a gamble. Yeah,
it is a big gamble.
I agree.
So we'll see how he does. I think he has the highest ceiling, but also the lowest floor. McDaniels does, but also I don't know. We'll see. The Saints just promoting their defensive coordinator was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So, and also the Texans. Why would you hire in-house? Why would you even fire? It was O'Brien.
Mike Coley.
Right? Coley, was it Coley? Yeah.
You had him for 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you fire him if you're just going to promote someone in house? Just like I don't really understand it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the same thing. None of the three stuck out to me really, because I mean, like most of what Riley said was like in-house guys, and then I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be Josh McDaniels for the Dolphins. Would probably be my favorite, but like I said, not really any of them stuck out to me. So
McDaniels, I think, was the Raiders.
Oh, so yeah, sorry.
Josh McDaniels was the Raiders.
Yeah, the Dolphins got Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels.
Sorry, I got those.
No, you're good, man. You're perfectly fine.
But talking about the Dolphins, also, like, why would you get rid of Flores? Why do you think getting rid of Flores and hiring Mike McDaniel is the best thing for your organization? Yeah. Unless this whole losing thing is actually real, like you're actually paying Flores to lose games, which would suck for the NFL.
I saw a thing that Brian Flores said one time. I think he said something along the lines of, "I hate losing. Do you really think I would do that?" I think it's something kind of what he said. But when the Dolphins won 8 games in a row, I think, something like that. I mean, their defense.
I think it was 7.
Their defense in those 7-8 game win streak. I mean, that defense was incredible, and Brian Flores is doing a great job. And then you see him leave, and you're just like, what happened? What's going on? But I agree with both of you a lot. None of these three necessarily really jump out to me at all. We've seen Lovie Smith coach now. I remember him when he was in Chicago. He was a head coach in Chicago. Then he goes to Illinois to be the head coach. doesn't have success at Illinois, and then gets back in the NFL with the Texans, and now you get him as a head coach. But I agree. I mean, just keep. Culley, just keep him another year, at least. I mean, don't. And I get it with the Saints. I mean, Allen has been the defensive coordinator for the Saints for years. I don't know if years is right. I think Rob Ryan was the defensive coordinator for a while, but he came along after Rob Ryan, and I mean, he's been one of the staples in the coaching staff. So, I mean, I understand that hire, I guess, in a sense, just because. They kind of, I guess, want to keep it in-house. You got to wonder if maybe Sean Payton had something to do with that.
He might have.
So
yeah, he could have just been like, yeah, you're the next guy up. So.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like a promotion thing for sure.
So. Right. You got to wonder if maybe that was it. So I want to get into this next one because this next one's fun. So this past Sunday was the Pro Bowl. I was on at 3. The AFC ended up winning it. Mac Jones hit a gritty in the end zone that didn't even count as a touchdown. But anyways, there was a lot of backlash just about the Pro Bowl in general, just with the way it was run, the way it was organized. When you had Stephon and Trayvon Diggs completely switching positions and guarding each other, a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people don't like the two-hand touch aspect of it. I saw a thing, though, that said that the 2 worst teams in the NFL that year should play in one game to determine who's going to end up making the playoff or getting the number 1 pick. I want to kind of pick y'all's brain on what you think about that.
I think that would be an awesome idea. Just with the if you had the Jaguars and the Lions end up playing against each other. I mean, you look at Dan Campbell. He was literally crying after they lost 7 in a row or whatever, because he knew that they were right there, that they could win any game. So I think Dan Campbell would have the Lions literally ready to run through a brick wall, and it'd be super entertaining to watch. And I don't know about y'all, but I watched the Pro Bowl, and honestly, it wasn't even fun to watch. They weren't even taking deep shots. Like, I saw they were just dumping the ball. It was like, what's the point of it? What is the point of a Pro Bowl? They got to do something else.
Yeah, I think honestly, if the 2 teams, the Jaguars and the Lions, were like playing to fight for a draft pick, I think that would be really fun to watch. Honestly, it'd be really entertaining and just like quality football, better than the Pro Bowl. There'd be actually like physical play going on there. So for sure. Yeah,
I was. I think nowadays the Pro Bowl has gotten to be more of like a show kind of thing more than it has an actual game. You see a lot of players on the sideline getting interviewed during the games and this and that, and I don't know. I think it's started to get kind of all about the money and all about the viewership and everything. I think that's a cool idea. Just make it every year. Just say, hey, these guys, they made a Pro Bowl. That's awesome. Congratulations to them. But then just say, all right, the 2 worst teams in the NFL, this is how we're going to do it. You 2 get a chance to play each other in one game for a playoff, for a number 1 spot. I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot more interesting and exciting, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a lot more competitive for sure.
Right, than just a Pro Bowl, you know. So I don't know. That one is that one's, I guess, something that would be cool to consider. Will it ever happen? Probably not. But is it fun to talk about? I guess.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely thought about it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a lot of people have probably thought about it if I had to guess. So, but yeah, we've got a lot of exciting, I guess, topics and opinions about everything in the NFL world. But we're going to take a quick break really fast. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll get into some NBA, more particularly the Charlotte Hornets, and a new All-Star selections and a big trade that took place here in the NBA. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Sports Wrap presented by Eggers, and Eggers right here on 90.5 WASU FM.
Life is a journey. We're told that there are mountains and valleys before us. A mountaineer trudges through. Where others see an obstacle, a mountaineer sees an opportunity. A mountaineer climbs tomorrow's mountains today. So what is a mountaineer? A mountaineer is you.
To a place where you can grow.
A place to be heard.
And take a closer look.
A place where you can crush it.
And push yourself.
A place to find your voice.
This place rocks. And rolls. A place where you can get out.
A place you'll never forget.
So where is this place? Let me show you.
Over that commercial break about, I don't think we don't think it should necessarily matter, about the head coaching aspect of it. I mean, we think in the NFL, I mean, if you've got what it takes to coach, you should let them coach, and that was, I guess, kind of Riley's words, and I would have to completely agree with that 100%. So I got to play something though before we get into this NBA talk. So this is something that really kind of hit the social media world kind of hard, and people loved it. So I'm going to play it since we're getting into the NBA. So here we go.
I'm a fun guy.
So that was, you heard, and that was the call of Kawhi Leonard. That was his press conference with the Raptors whenever he signed with the Raptors. Was it true?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so.
I can't remember which one it was. But anyways, I like playing that one to start the NBA segment. I think it's pretty cool. So as we said before we went to commercial, we're going to talk more specifically just kind of about the Charlotte Hornets, and then we'll talk some trades and that kind of thing. So everybody was talking on social media, all Hornets fans talking on social media about how upset they were that LaMelo Ball ended up getting snubbed for the All-Star game, and then LaMelo actually ended up getting the nod at the end. I believe it was an injury replacement. Is that
Yes, he ended up replacing like Kevin Durant or someone like that.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin Durant. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. But anyways, he's an NBA All-Star now. So he's the fourth youngest All-Star ever. I believe it's him, Magic, LeBron, and I guess those are the four. I guess would be those four. So what does this say kind of about, I guess, Melo's style of play, and then kind of how he's truly brought the buzz to Buzz City?
Yeah, personally, I'm excited to see LaMelo play in the All-Star game. Even though he's just an injury replacement, he'll probably get some playing time in the game itself. Personally, I'm a Hornets fan, and I enjoy watching him play. He scored 38 points, and even though the Hornets lost last Wednesday to the Boston Celtics, and I thought he was really impressive in that game. He's averaged about 19 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds through 47 games this season. So I think he's just a really interesting player to watch.
Yeah, Melo is so exciting to me. He's the best thing to happen to Charlotte, in my opinion, since Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton has
absolutely.
that, right? Cam Newton, when he was drafted into Carolina, he brought that energy. He brought that everybody was excited and actually put the Panthers on the map. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a team that you would watch before that. I mean, before Cam Newton, we were 2-14 with Jimmy Clausen. I mean,
yeah, that was 2010. Yeah,
exactly.
I remember that vividly.
That is, I mean, that's disgusting. So then you bring in Ron Rivera, you bring in Cam Newton, and these guys. You already have Steve Smith, and so like it energizes the city. So relating that, LaMelo is exactly like that. He's someone that people have followed since he was legitimately like 12, 13 years old, right? I mean, it's crazy what social media does. People have followed him for forever, and even like when he was in Australia and all that kind of stuff. And so when he came to Charlotte, even I knew it was a good pick just because, for better or for worse, even if he played bad, it would have brought publicity to Charlotte, which we are desperately needing, right? And so the fact that Melo's an all-star now is crazy, and you actually see that people are becoming Hornets fans. And me and my friend used to joke all the time because we go to Hornets games and they'd be like, "We're live at the Hive," and there'd be like 5 people there. You're like okay, but now the stadium's packed. People just want to see Melo play, and excluding this 5-game losing streak, I mean, we've been playing out of our minds compared to seasons before. I mean, it's best since 2015. So.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. When the Hornets ended up taking him with their pick, I said he might end up, being the next best thing that happens to Charlotte. He'll put butts in the seats regardless. I mean, people are going to want to go to Hornets games to see him play, and that has absolutely happened. But what's even better than that, though, is they've got help now. I mean, there's help now. We were talking about before the show. You've got P.J. Washington, and you got Miles Bridges, and Gordon Hayward when he's healthy. Scary Terry, Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier.
So I mean, you've got one of the Martin twins who is also from my hometown, by the way. So a lot of guys tonight from kind of from my hometown. He's probably, I don't know how far away he is from me, but I mean he's a pretty good ways. If he's not from my hometown, he's like a county or two over, so he's pretty close. But no, anyways, I love this for not only for Melo but also for just the city of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina. It's so cool to see, especially in a small market team like the Hornets.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm from Charlotte. I remember going to Hornets games like a few years ago, and there was just like almost like this like dullness to the building. And ever since LaMelo's come there, ever since we drafted him, I definitely agree. The atmosphere inside the Spectrum Center has been electric, and he's been lighting it up almost every game. And honestly, I think Melo is one of the best things to happen to the Hornets in recent memory. In recent years. So
yeah, this is the best this Hornets team, or most exciting this Hornets team has been since, I would argue, since the 80s. I mean, like, people are actually excited to go to games, so it's wonderful for the city.
Yeah, I saw a picture I believe the Hornets played last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they played the Raptors.
I saw a picture last night, and during that game, I mean, the stands were packed last night for a Monday night game. I mean, I was like, wow, that's awesome to see. So it's cool because I went to a Hornets game for a field trip one time in high school, and I agree, the stands were empty, like completely empty. There was no energy, there was no excitement at all. I mean, and now you bring in Lonzo or LaMelo, and now you're getting all kinds of it. So it's cool. I'm glad he made it. It's going to be fun to watch and see, and I'm sure he's honored to get to represent the state and the team and the organization in and of itself. So now you've kind of got Jason Tatum is another guy who ends up getting bumped up to the starting role. He will start for the All-Star game. That was announced, I believe, the same day that LaMelo was announced. But what is I guess he's starting due to injury. I can't remember who he's starting over. I thought it was KD, and then LaMelo got the nod over somebody else. But was it James Harden? Maybe LaMelo got the start over or got the nod for.
Maybe
it might have been James Harden.
I don't know. All I know is KD was out, and then Tatum got bumped up to be a starter, and then Melo got in. So yeah.
Right. Well, that kind of brought me to this question. Do you really think that the players want to play in the All-Star game? I mean, do you really think they want to kind of, be a part of that? When you got Kevin Durant who says he's not playing, due to an injury, do you think they want to take part in all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the players, despite Kevin Durant and all those guys being out, I think the players do want to engage in the All-Star game mainly because they get to show off, their skills without, worrying about smother defense in the paint or any of that other stuff. So I think it's a way for them to show off their talents and their skills to a huge audience, mainly the entire NBA fan base. Just it's a time for them to really show what they're made of.
Yeah, and I think it's like going back to the NFL. I mean, if you look at the Pro Bowl, nobody looks at the Pro Bowl and is like, oh, you made Pro Bowls, whatever. Who cares if you made the Pro Bowl? Because so many people make the Pro Bowl. There's full 53-man rosters on both sides for the Pro Bowl, right? So then when you go to the NBA, there's only 20 people on each side. Am I wrong? Just about. I mean, 10 people on each side, so 20 people in total.
I can't tell you the last time I've watched the All-Star games.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not as many though, so it's a much more there's a lot more prestige in it, and then it's so much harder to make it when you're younger. I know Donovan Mitchell was trying to make it. It took him 3 years to make it, but he was deserving every year. So it's hard to make the All-Star game compared to. So I think players look at it as an honor, but when you're someone like KD, who's an absolute superstar, he probably doesn't care as much. He just wants to win a ring. But Melo, on the other hand, I mean that's a huge thing to be one of the youngest players. I mean, was he younger than LeBron, or he was close to it?
I think he was close to his age.
Yeah, he was close to his age, and then Magic Johnson. There was one other, but yeah, he's just one of the youngest players to ever make it. So that's huge. So
yeah, definitely. I'm happy for all the guys, LaMelo, Andrew Wiggins, John Morant, those type of guys, who are getting one of their first All-Star games, one of their first All-Star appearances. So I think it's definitely good for guys like that who don't normally get the spotlight. They get the spotlight in this game.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of the young talent now kind of get to go out and show their. It's cool to see. I personally think that the players, probably love playing in this game just because I feel like they treat it kind of like just a casual, just pickup game, So
yeah.
I think they enjoy getting to go out there and you see them cut up and you see them laugh and you make. It looks like they're really enjoying, out there getting to play ball with some guys that they've never played before and guys they compete against their whole careers, getting to play on the same team and I think they enjoy it. I think the fans enjoy it. I think the entertainment aspect of it is probably why they enjoy it the most. But at the same time, you would like to see guys who are injured, get to at least attempt to play in it, But I don't know. I'm not their coach, so I couldn't tell you. But so moving on now, I guess one of the biggest. Trade deadline is 2 days away. I believe it's the 10th, correct, for the NBA.
Yeah.
And so, a huge trade happened, or two big trades today, I guess, with New Orleans and Portland. But I feel like the bigger trade out of that was between the Kings and the Pacers. So this one surprised me, honestly. The Kings ended up trading away Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson to the Pacers. And the Pacers sent away Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and then a draft pick here in 2027. And what do you think was kind of going on in the Kings' mind here? I mean, Tyrese Halliburton is in his second year. I mean, he's still a great talent as far as NBA play is concerned. I mean, what was kind of going on in the Kings' minds right here? I mean, they're not a great basketball team, and I mean, I don't know.
I think the what was it? Oh, the Kings. They saw Halliburton as I guess a good player, but I think they traded him away possibly because they wanted to probably get some like more experienced guys like Justin Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, those type of guys. So. Yeah, I think I think they saw like the potential there with Halliburton, but I think they just wanted to get some more experienced guys on their roster.
Yeah, I really don't understand this move from the Kings, in my opinion. I mean, Halliburton was a guy that people were talking about actually got snubbed for the All-Star game this year. So, and he's only a second-year player, so he's super young, super talented, and in my opinion, the Kings aren't in a win-now mode. This is like a win-now trade with no pieces around it. It's just Sabonis, right? So you trade away Halliburton, who's a big, important part of your team. You trade away Buddy Hield, who's that 3-and-D guy. He's one of the best three-point percentages in the whole league. He had more threes than Steph Curry at one point this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Steph Curry's passed him since then, but still, he's making a lot of threes, and Tristan Thompson's okay. I mean, Sabonis is definitely an upgrade over him. But then Jeremy Lamb is an okay player. Justin Holiday's pretty good, but I think you traded away way more than you should have for this type of trade right here, and you probably didn't have to trade away that many assets to get Sabonis. So I think the Pacers kind of stole from the Kings on this trade for sure, especially for a rebuilding team like the Pacers.
That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% stole is exactly right. The only thing I could think of was maybe the experience, or maybe they're thinking, okay, Tyrese Halliburton and Domantas Sabonis really kind of are on the same level as far as play is concerned. I mean, I don't understand that at all. Another guy that the Pacers might just surprise people and end up trading away is probably going to be Miles Turner. You know, Miles Turner might be another guy they end up trading away. So we'll see, but this one was surprising to me, especially with the Kings struggling as bad as they are. But I agree. They're not in necessarily a win-now mode. They're trying to rebuild. They thought they could do it with Luke Walton, ended up not being able to. And so this is just a head-scratcher to me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, Halliburton, in going back to what you said about that rebuild mode, Halliburton could have gotten them or helped them through this rebuild mode. So, kind of what you guys were saying, a part of me understands why they wanted more veteran guys, like I said, like Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday. But then the other part of me, doesn't get why they would do this, why they would trade away such a fresh talent like Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, I don't. That's absolutely a head scratcher. But we're not in those rooms at the owners and the GMs and the coaches with the conversations they have. So I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, it's odd. It's
unusual. I'm looking it up right now. The Kings are 20-35. They're like 13th in the Western Conference, which right now to get in the playoffs in the Western Conference is. So it's like ridiculous. The Pelicans are 21-32, and they're in the play-in game right now. So the Kings, I guess maybe if you're the Kings, you're thinking maybe if you get Sabonis, maybe you make a win-now move, you can get to the playoffs. But what's the point?
I mean, that's my whole thinking is, they're getting experience. I mean, they're only. I guess you could say Buddy Hield is now officially a veteran. I mean, I would. I mean, he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, so. He does. He definitely has that experience about him. So
I mean, they're trading kind of experience for experience. I guess it just comes down to who's really the better of the six and got traded. Which package is the better of the six? I mean, Tristan Thompson played with the Celtics last year, and he was frustrating at times. He's a great rebounder, but just offensively doesn't produce in ways that a lot of people wish he would. So this is I don't understand this at all. But, it's like the Kings have so much young talent, and then they just get rid of it. De'Aaron Fox was another guy they mentioned could potentially be traded again. And so I don't know. That might not be the last time we hear of the Kings. So We'll see. We've got 2 days, and Thursday is going to be absolute madness. I got a feeling as far as trades and that kind of thing is concerned. So
one last thing before we leave this segment, I think. The way, if you look back at Buzz City and the Hornets, you look at back how this relates to us. This trade sucks for us because we want a guy like Miles Turner, right? And this just upped the price for a guy like Miles Turner. We have to give up way more than we thought we should have because the Kings over here gave up Halliburton, right? So
oh yeah, no doubt.
Now the Hornets have to give away a lot.
They're going to want Terry Rozier or Gordon Hayward or Miles Bridges, somebody like that. I got a feeling. So. yeah, the Hornets still, like we said, I think one key big man away from being very good. The problem is nowadays, nobody wants to sign in that small of a market unless you just got an offer they can't refuse. So you got to kind of, I guess, work with what you got in a sense. But I don't know. But yes, I agree. This trade right here is going to end up increasing the price on a lot of guys. I got a feeling, and a lot of asking prices in that sense. So we're going to take one last break. It gets hot in here. We get thirsty, so we're going to take a break and grab a drink. But when we come back, we're gonna hit some Olympics. Going to talk about our favorite Olympics competitions, and then we got a fun question about what sport we would make an Olympic sport if we had the opportunity to. So you're listening to Sports Wrap on 90.5 WASU FM. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Happy Tuesday. This is Sports Wrap right here on your college, your station, your music. Arguably the best, 2 days of the week, I would say, in the radio sense. I really, really enjoy getting to get on here and talk some sports with you all, and then with the guys here in the room. It kind of, is a good way to kind of, sit back and relax and not have to care about all the worries you have in your world or in your life and that kind of thing with school and homework and extracurricular activities. So it's a joy getting to be here with you all. I enjoy it every single time I get to get behind this mic. And so we're going to kind of, I guess now, I don't know if this has been talked about on Sports Wrap before that I'm aware of, unless I'm just completely wrong. But I want to kind of, I guess, get you all's idea on things. So what would you say, Winter Olympics are now in full swing. What would you kind of say is your favorite Olympic sport? Or Winter Olympics event, I guess. That's better terminology.
Yeah, for me, it would probably be snowboarding, mainly because of Shaun White. He's been in the game for years now, and, almost everything he does is really just interesting to watch, especially when he competes in the Winter Olympics. And, he's done, like, the X Games, Winter Olympics, and, like, several other competitions. So I think he's just a really fun guy to watch, hit the slopes.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's these guys, these people that go down with their skis, and they go down this giant hill, and they're stuck in this little thing, and they're flying, and then they just jump. You know what I'm talking about? And they jump.
Oh, is it ski jumping?
It might be ski jumping. That might be.
I don't know what it's called, but that's one of my favorite ones.
I just explained. I was like, they're in skis and they jump. You're like, ski jumping?
Yeah. But I think it's literally that simple.
But yeah, it might be. But yeah, actually, they jump, and it's crazy to see how far they go. But yeah.
No, are you talking about the one where they try to jump as far as they can off that hill?
Yeah.
The ramp itself is not very the end of the ramp isn't very high. It's kind of flat, but they try to like stretch their legs out.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
They look like they're flying.
That one's
I'm
fun
almost
to play.
sure that's ski jumping, but don't quote me on that.
That one's fun to play on like the Wii Sports Resort or whatever. That
Yeah.
it was
Exactly.
called
I
that
was
it used
thinking
to
about
be on.
that.
But no, mine. I enjoy. I like the skiing and the snowboarding, but I like the one where they do the jumps. The one where they compete and go down the hill and do the jump and then the trick and then land. I'm trying to think of what it's called. I want to say something Big Sky maybe. I'm not sure, but I enjoy that one a lot. That one's cool. It's fun to watch. And then I've seen a lot of curling. People have enjoyed curling a lot this year, which is unusual for me. I know. People love the ice skating. I know my mom in previous years, she's really enjoyed that one. I like the one where you see the jumps and the tricks. I'm trying to think. There was a guy that I saw. It's either last night or the night before last. I can't remember. He had another guy go down the slope and stop, and he did a trick off that guy's board. I'm trying to think of what that was or when that was, but it was cool. He laid down in the snow and lifted his legs up where the bottom of the board was facing up in the air.
I know what you're talking about. That's Zeb Powell.
Yep,
that's his
that's
name.
it.
That was in the X Games. And
That was X Games.
Yeah,
okay.
I watched it live, and it was like when he was doing that, I was like, "Holy cow! Like, what in the world?"
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that before. So, talking about all these Olympic sports, I guess that we have in wintertime makes me kind of curious. If you could make one sport or one activity, physical activity that you do, an Olympic sport, what would it be?
For me, it would probably be Foursquare. Honestly, I used to play that game a lot in elementary school and middle school, and I know with my friends, like that game whenever we would play it would get like really competitive. And like King, Queen, Jack, and Trash, I think were the four spots on the square. So yeah, I think that game would actually be really competitive depending on how well how competitive the players want to take it.
We never called them that. We just called it King and then every other space. So I've never heard of that before. So.
Yeah, my school we named like all four squares. So
wow.
Yeah.
Shoot, Andrew's got like
Yeah, Andrew does that fancy school or something, man.
Yeah,
My
holy
goodness.
Maybe.
My goodness.
Foursquare's solid. I like that option. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna try to explain this really quick because we don't have too much time. But there was a sport back in my high school. It was called sketchball, right? And what we did is we have a volleyball, right? And it was a mix between frisbee, volleyball, soccer, basketball, and yeah, I think that was it. Maybe football. Football was another one. So, so what we would do is we have this volleyball, or it was a soccer ball, either one, and you'd pass it up the court, and like if you got tagged, then you have to freeze and you have to pass it like frisbee. So if you catch it, you have to stop there, and then if you get tagged, you can't shoot it, right? So then and then you just pass it up, and try to, and if it falls, then the other team gets it. Just like frisbee, so you have to keep the ball up, and then you shoot it into the basket like basketball. So it was a really, really weird sport, but it got really intense really quick. So that was a really fun sport. That if it was in the Olympics, I don't know what it would look like, to be honest.
Dude, I don't doubt it, man. That sounds like a fun sport. You see so many funky sports now that are in the Olympics. I think the one that's been discussed, I feel like, for years has been dodgeball, and that's probably what I would go to. Dodgeball is very, very intense. I mean, when you're growing up as a kid, anytime in PE they said, all right, we're playing dodgeball, you knew it was going to be a great day. You you just loved playing it. And then, of course, you got the movie Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
I was just gonna mention that.
But yeah, no, and that's another prime example. I mean, I think people love the idea of dodgeball. I think it would be a cool asset to it. I personally was never super great at dodgeball. I mean, I was decent, but I was never super great at it. So I think that one would absolutely be fun to kind of throw in there. But yeah, I don't know if it'd be as intense as the dodgeball movie itself.
Yeah, I think there would be some regulation to it. Not as crazy as the dodgeball movie, but I don't know.
I disagree. I think they take it to a whole nother level. I think it'd be player introductions. You think is it
Those would be
Olympics?
pretty cool. The player introductions would be pretty cool, if they
Right?
threw that in.
And if it's Olympics, I mean, these guys, who knows? They're athletic. They can do flips and stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, I did that. I wasn't even thinking of playing it player intros, but that would be cool. Do an individual individual player
Just
intros.
have like
and-
player walk-up music, you
Yeah,
know, like
have
people
them-
can make their
have them
walk-up
run.
music and just like strut in, you know.
Yeah.
have them running into the arena and then have ESPN 8 the Ocho there to to help call it. But no, that would absolutely be fun. If somebody called me in my broadcasting career and said, "Hey, we need you in this is in China, ain't it?" Say, "Hey, we need you in China to call a dodgeball." I'd be like, "Yo, what? I'll be there."
Yeah.
You know,
Say less.
For sure.
Well, I wouldn't say I'd be there. I mean, I'd have to talk it over with family and that kind of thing. But still, that'd be pretty cool. So that's all I have tonight. Unless y'all have something else you want to mention. But if not, we're gonna get into some shout outs here. So since we kind of talked about LaMelo, and I don't know why I keep getting Lonzo and LaMelo mixed up. But anyways, since we talked a little bit about LaMelo, we'll go out on some J. Cole. So we'll go ahead and end the show there. But we got to do the shout-outs like we always do. So we'll just go around the table. So, Andrew, go ahead, man.
All right. Shout out to my family and friends as always. Specifically, shout out to my Uncle Steve. He's over at my house right now visiting my dad. Shout out to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Hope you've had a great day so far. And, shout out to my friends. Shout out to App State basketball. I'm looking forward to a great game from them on Thursday against Georgia Southern.
Yeah, that's awesome. Shout out to Andrew's dad. Really.
Yeah, seriously,
Happy
I was going to say,
birthday, Andrew's
shout
dad.
out to Andrew's dad. Happy birthday, Andrew's dad. I don't have a happy birthday song, or I would play it.
Yeah, we would definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's serenaded by J. Cole right now, so that's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that
nothing's better.
matters.
So
Yeah.
But shout out to my family as always. Shout out to my mom up in Philly who's always listening. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else other than that.
Yeah, I guess we'll all three keep it sentimental here. I'll shout out, I guess, my whole support system. I would list them all, but there's so many to list. They know who they are, so shout out to all of them for their support and their love and everything, pushing me to be the best man that I can possibly be every day and pushing me even harder than I'm pushing myself to pursue what I love. So that's all from this edition of Sports Wrap. Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure. For Riley Carlson, Andrew Travers, I'm Jason James signing off for now, but we will be back in 48 hours. So be sure to tune back in on Thursday night as we got another great show for you on Thursday evening. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to us. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Take care, and as always, roll Nears.